When the people gathered around him, they came with questions they did not know how to ask, and wounds they did not know how to speak aloud. Their hearts carried storms, but their faces carried silence. And Jesus, seeing the burden inside each soul, lifted his eyes to them and began to teach in a voice firm enough to steady trembling hearts and gentle enough to heal the unseen places within them. "Listen closely," he said, "for every one of you carries a quiet battlefield within. You see the world outside, but I see the world that lives inside you. I see the struggle behind your choices, the war between the truth I give and the lies that try to claim you. Every heart has a wilderness, a place where shadows whisper and fears rise. And in that place, your inner demons speak loudly. But I did not come to condemn you for the war inside you. I came to teach you how to walk through the darkness without bowing to it." The crowd shifted, some with lowered eyes, some with chests rising in slow breaths, as if hearing their own lives described for the first time. Jesus continued, "Your inner demons are not creatures of darkness hiding in the corners of your room. They are the voices that rise when your soul is weary. They speak when you are tired, when you feel alone, when your hope feels fragile. Some of you hear the whisper of fear, telling you that you are not enough. Others hear the whisper of shame, reminding you of mistakes I have already forgiven. Others hear the voice of anger, stirring storms that do not lead to righteousness. And some of you hear the voice of despair, the one that tells you your future is already broken." Then he paused. "But hear me, these voices have power only when you forget my words. Darkness grows loud where faith grows quiet." The people leaned in, drawn to the authority in his voice. "You have believed that your struggles isolate you, that your battles make you unworthy. But I tell you today, you are not weak because you struggle. You are human. You were never called to face the shadows alone. The enemy speaks to you through fear, but I speak through truth. The enemy speaks through accusation, but I speak through grace. The enemy speaks through confusion, but I speak through wisdom. The enemy speaks through despair, but I speak through hope. And when you listen to my voice, you will find strength in the very places you once felt broken." A young man in the crowd, trembling slightly, whispered, "Rabbi, why does the darkness inside us speak louder than your voice?" Jesus looked at him with compassion and answered, "Because you have fed those voices for many years. A voice becomes loud when it is given attention. When you dwell on fear, fear grows. When you rehearse your failures, shame grows. When you entertain bitterness, anger grows. When you run from your wounds instead of bringing them to me, the wound grows deeper. But when you expose the darkness to the light, its power collapses. What you bring to me can no longer rule you." He stepped closer to the crowd, his presence steadying them. "Some of you believe that you are fighting shadow after shadow because you failed me. But listen, the battle in you does not exist because you are far from me. The battle exists because you are close to purpose. The enemy attacks what heaven anoints. You wrestle with fear because you are meant to walk in courage. You wrestle with shame because you are destined for testimony. You wrestle with temptation because you are called into holiness. You wrestle with despair because you are created for hope. Do not mistake the war inside you for abandonment. It is proof that heaven has laid its hand on your life." Then Jesus said, "You ask, 'Lord, why do these inner voices rise even when I try to do good?' Because the path of transformation is not quiet. When light enters a place that has been dark for many years, the shadows protest. When truth enters your heart, the lies begin to shake. When my presence settles in you, every false voice rises desperate to pull you away from me. But hear me, no voice inside you is stronger than the voice that formed you. No darkness inside you is stronger than the light I placed in you. And there is no chain inside you that I cannot break." A woman stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "Teacher," she said, "I have tried to silence the voices, but they return stronger. What do I do?" Jesus looked at her with the tenderness of a father and the authority of a king. "You do not win battles by ignoring them. You win by confronting them with truth. When fear whispers, respond with faith. When shame speaks, answer with forgiveness. When anger rises, calm it with grace. When doubt surfaces, anchor yourself in my promises. Your inner demons cannot survive in the presence of truth. The darkness can only rule the places where you refuse to shine the light." And he added, "Hear me. You do not overcome by your own strength. If you try to fight these voices alone, they will overwhelm you. But when you let me fight with you, no force in hell can defeat you. My strength becomes your strength. My peace becomes your shield. My love becomes your identity. And when you stand in who I am, the lies lose their footing. The wind shifted across the hillside, and the people felt as though their hearts were being opened, not to condemnation, but to revelation. Jesus continued, "Some of you have carried the same inner conflict for many years and wondered if it means you are unworthy. But I tell you, the presence of struggle does not mean the absence of grace. A heart still fighting is a heart still alive. The enemy fears those who refuse to give up, and I delight in those who rise again despite the battle. Your identity is not shaped by what tries to break you. It is shaped by the one who holds you together. You belong to me, and no voice inside you can rewrite what I have spoken over you." He turned toward the sea, letting the rhythm of the waves underline his words. Your inner demons often rise when your faith is tired. That is why I call you to rest in me. You were never meant to hold everything together by yourself. When your thoughts race, bring them to me. When your anxieties rise, pour them out before me. When you fear the future, place it in my hands. When you feel unworthy, remember that I chose you long before you ever knew my name. He walked slowly among them as he spoke, as if comforting each heart individually. I know the hidden places inside you, the memories you avoid, the wounds you protect, the regrets you bury. But you do not heal by hiding. Healing begins when you bring your wounds into the light of my love. I do not reveal your darkness to shame you. I reveal it so I can free you. For the chains you deny remain unbroken, but the chains you bring to me fall apart. Then he said, "You are not your fear. You are not your shame. You are not your anger. You are not your past." These voices try to convince you that you are defined by the darkest parts of your story. But I tell you, today, you are defined by the light of my presence. He does not distance himself because of your internal chaos. Instead, he steps into your chaos to bring order. He enters your storm to bring peace. He walks into your shadows to speak light. He lifted his hand and pointed toward the horizon, where the light of the sun painted the sky. See how the sun rises and the darkness fades. That is how the truth works in your soul. The darkness does not disappear instantly. It fades gradually as the light increases. That is why you must walk with me daily. Truth is not a moment. It is a journey. Peace is not an event. It is a practice. Freedom is not a single step. It is a path. Walk with me, and you will see the darkness lose its strength day by day. A man asked, "Lord, what if the battle returns?" Jesus answered, "Then stand again." The war inside you is not a sign that you are defeated. It is a sign that you are advancing. Every victory strengthens your spirit. Every surrender to me weakens the enemy's claim. You are not called to be perfect. You are called to be persistent. And when you fall, I do not turn my face away. I lift you. I restore you. I walk with you. The enemy wants you to see your failures as final. But I tell you, no failure is final in my hands. Jesus continued, his voice growing deeper, carrying both warning and protection. But listen carefully. Your inner demons gain strength when you feed them with secrecy. When you hide your struggles, they grow. When you isolate yourself, they whisper louder. That is why I call you into the light, into community, into confession, into truth. The darkness inside you fears exposure. Do not fight alone. Bring your burdens to me. Share your struggles with trusted brothers and sisters. Walk in the light, and the shadows will lose their grip. Then, with gentleness, he said, "Many of you think you are unworthy of my help because of the battles you face. But listen, I came for the broken, not the flawless. I came for the weary, not the strong. I came for those who struggle, not those who pretend they don't. Your battle does not disqualify you from my presence. It draws me closer to you. For I am the shepherd who runs toward the wounded, not away from them." He lifted his eyes heavenward. The Father knows your frame. He knows the limitations of your humanity. He does not condemn you for the emotions you feel. He does not reject you for the temptations you face. Then he looked back at the people and said, "Hear me. Your inner demons lose their power when you stop owning them as your identity. Stop saying, 'I am fear,' I am broken. I am lost. These are not who you are. These are battles you face, not names you carry. You are mine. You are beloved. You are chosen. And you are stronger than the voices that rise against you. The crowd grew still, absorbing every word as if water to a thirsty soul. Jesus continued, "The most dangerous voice in your life is not the shout of the enemy, but the whisper you agree with. When you agree with fear, fear grows. When you agree with shame, shame deepens. When you agree with anger, anger consumes. But when you agree with my truth, chains fall. When you agree with my love, healing begins. When you agree with my promises, courage rises. Your freedom begins with agreement." He stepped onto a nearby rock, not to elevate himself, but to speak with clarity to every heart present. You ask, "Lord, how do I silence these voices?" You silence them by giving your attention to mine. The voice you feed becomes the voice you follow. Feed your spirit with my words, and the lies will starve. Feed your mind with my truth, and confusion will fade. Feed your heart with my presence, and fear will lose its home. The people nodded, some weeping softly, others standing with renewed strength. Jesus continued, "Your inner demons often speak to you in moments of exhaustion because they know that tired hearts listen poorly. That is why I call you to rest in me, not rest as the world gives, but rest that renews your soul. When you rest in my presence, clarity returns. When you rest in my love, identity settles. When you rest in my strength, courage awakens. Rest is not weakness. It is warfare against the voices that try to drain your spirit." Then he said, "Do not fear the shadows inside you. I walk with you there. Do not fear the memories that hurt. I can heal them. Do not fear the lies that rise. My truth is stronger. Do not fear the battles that come. I will give you victory. Your inner demons speak to intimidate you, but I speak to transform you. Listen to my voice, and you will find the strength you did not know you carried." He paused, letting his words wash over them like waves smoothing a shoreline. Then he continued, "Some of you believe the darkness inside you is too deep for me to reach. But I tell you, there is no depth I cannot descend to, no shadow too dark for my light, no wound too old for my healing. I am not afraid of the places you fear. I am not overwhelmed by the burdens you carry. I am not discouraged by your struggles. I am the one who steps into tombs and calls the dead to life. Your heart is not too far gone." Jesus looked across the crowd, his gaze soft, warm, protective. "I am not teaching you these things to frighten you, but to free you. For too long, you have believed that you are powerless against what rises within you. But today, you will know the truth. You are not a prisoner of your inner battles. You are not at the mercy of fleeting emotions. You are not bound by old wounds. You are not defined by past mistakes. You are children of the light, and where the light dwells, darkness cannot remain." He continued, "The enemy wants you to believe that your darkness is stronger than my presence. But I tell you, even the smallest light overwhelms the greatest darkness. You may feel like your faith is small, your hope fragile, your strength inconsistent. But even a fragile flame is enough to break shadows. Even a whisper of faith is enough to challenge the lies. Even a single step toward me is enough to begin transformation." The sky above them shifted with soft light as he spoke. "When you walk with me, you'll learn to discern the voices within. You'll learn which voice brings peace and which brings confusion. You'll learn which voice aligns with truth and which fuels fear. My sheep know my voice, and they follow me. Learn to recognize the sound of truth, and the lies will lose their disguise." As the teaching deepened, Jesus' voice carried both warning and comfort. "Understand this, the enemy wants you to believe that the battle inside you disqualifies you. But I tell you, the battle is proof that you are moving forward. The enemy attacks what he fears, and he fears the future I have for you. The presence of struggle means the presence of destiny. Do not run from the war inside your eyes within it." He spoke of courage then, not as a feeling, but as a choice. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing truth despite fear. It is standing firm when the shadows whisper. It is choosing my voice when every other voice fights for your attention. Courage is quiet, but it is powerful, and I am with you in every step of it." He walked again among the people, placing a hand on the shoulder of a young man burdened by guilt. Some of you believe your inner demons speak truth because they sound familiar, but familiarity is not truth. Just because a lie has echoed in your mind for many years does not make it your identity. Break agreement with the lies. Stand in the truth I give. You are forgiven. You are redeemed. You are loved. You are mine. His words softened again as he lifted his eyes toward heaven. The Father does not watch your battle from afar. He is the God who enters the furnace with you. He is the God who stands beside you in the valley. He is the God who fights for you when you cannot lift your own hands. You are never alone in your struggle. Heaven stands with you. The crowds breathed deeply, as if their chests had been carrying stones. Jesus continued, "Your inner demons speak from your wounded places. That is why I call you to healing. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is not minimizing. Healing is the work of truth, replacing the lies that shaped your pain. Healing takes time, but time in my presence is never wasted. I can restore what life has broken. I can renew what time has worn. I can rebuild what sin has shattered." He concluded with authority that silenced the wind. "Listen to me. The darkness inside you has no victory where my light enters. The lies inside you have no throne where my truth reigns. The fear inside you has no future where my peace dwells. Walk with me. Listen to me. Trust me, and one day, you will look back on this battle and see that the shadows you feared became the places where my light shone brightest." He stretched out his hands, blessing the crowd softly. "You are stronger in me than the voices that rise against you. Do not fear the battle within. I am your victory. I am your strength. And I am with you, always."